Very much indeed for joining us. And those figures, 9:15, we're expecting from HSBC and the rest of the banks, of course, as they come throughout the week. Time for the papers now. Joining us, broadcaster journalist Lauren Booth. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Welcome.
Again.
And we are looking first at the Liberal Democrats, or their supporters at least, voters, deserting them.
Well, we kind of knew this was going to happen. 32% Lib Dem support immediately after the election, now down to 12% amongst those polled. That's pretty catastrophic. And actually, 42% of Lib Dem voters who were questioned said they wouldn't have voted Lib Dem had they known they'd have gone, had they had suspected for a second they would go into a coalition with the Conservatives. That's not good in the long term for Clegg. Clegg's own personal popularity rating down from around 72 after that famous debate on television, down to 8% now. They're being slaughtered.
Is that the fact that it was so skewed because he suddenly shot up to that rating after that very successful televised debate? You know, was that really inevitably he's going to ride for a fall as a result?
Well, look, there's obviously been an adjustment to be had, but an 8% rating for any minister, let alone a deputy prime minister, isn't good. But what I love about this particular page is the word in Whitehall. There is a new leaflet going out to the Ministry of Education to discuss how they put policy forward. So you remember that Labour was very famous for coining phrases. Spin doctor, third sector, blue sky thinking, all those are out now. So the Department of Education has been told that the word state has been supplanted by big society. So there's no more state, there's big society now. State control is now supplanted by social responsibility. And best of all, of course, Britain apparently is no longer a good place for children to grow up. It's the most family-friendly place in Europe. What a load of nonsense. I mean,
so it's a new lexicon.
I don't mind changing the format of the debate, but talking nonsense, that's really naughty.
But just new nonsense.
New nonsense.
Right. OK. I wonder if that's actually in the phrase book, new nonsense. However, right, we've had this debate on Shimon Peres and his comments about, well, not just Britain, as you're saying, England, you're saying, about anti-Semitic. Yeah,
this is the Israeli President Shimon Peres has come out and said in a quite wide-ranging interview that he considers the English to be highly anti-Semitic, historically anti-Semitic, continually anti-Semitic. This can be seen as a response, of course, to David Cameron saying that Gaza is a prison camp. It seems, you know, surprisingly, that this Conservative Liberal coalition is being quite strong-armed with Israel at the moment. Questioning its policies, they're saying, is not anti-Semitic. Now, often when that phrase has been bandied about in political circles, the instigator of the debate, whatever nation it is, will back off because it's a serious allegation, one that frightens people in political circles. And yet, you know, today we've got a Conservative MP saying it's inappropriate for the President of Israel to make a comment like that. We're no more criticising the policies of Israel doesn't mean we're any more anti-Semitic than if we criticise an Arab nation makes us anti-Arab. So quite strong there.
Important delineation to be made that, you know, you should be able and free to criticise the actions of a state such as the Israeli state, but not to criticise the people, the race or its religion, i.e. the Jewish faith or the Jewish people. So, you know, if you attack or criticise Israel's actions in the Middle East, it doesn't mean you're anti-Semitic, ergo. Well,
and then, of course, you've got President Shimon Peres accusing people high up in the state system of being anti-Semitic for questioning his policies.
Plenty of emails coming in. Keep them coming at news@sky.com, 8450114, text messages. Right, the asylum seeker who jumped from a tower block after losing a fight for legal aid.
Thanks to The Guardian for this really, really tragic story. Look, charities are closing down. They're under pressure because of cutbacks. We know this. One of the most important one, if you're an asylum seeker or a refugee in this country, is the Refugee and Migrant Justice. The charity Refugee and Migrant Justice, which has been forced into administration. And here we have Osman Rasul, a 27-year-old Iraqi Kurd who stood for 2 hours on railings outside an apartment building and then threw himself off.
Couldn't be persuaded.
Why? 9 years in limbo. 9 years not knowing where he's going, and then his case just gets shunted aside and he loses legal aid and he can't live with it anymore. I mean, this is a tragedy that will affect hundreds of thousands in this country.
Good bit of reporting. Extraordinary pictures in the Telegraph. Watercolours from a 7-year-old, is that right?
That's absolutely right. Kieran Williamson is just 7 years old, and you can see up there, these are the kinds of paintings that he's doing. £150,000. 30
What?
of his work have been, 30 pieces of his work have been paid for. £150,000 in total. Can you imagine? His parents say they're going to buy him a house and invest the rest of the money.
Good grief.
But
landscapes and town scenes fetching between £1,825 and £7,995 each.
Now, you know what I love about this? As we take our children on holiday, we're all, you know, putting DVD players in the cars, and even if you're going camping,
Get the sketchbook.
Get the sketchbook,
wow.
Get the oil paints out and give them something to do.
But
I'm not
these
saying they'll be
are,
like this, though. That's better than Prince Charles, isn't it?
Are these oil colours or... Because
they're
very
oils.
vibrant.
They are
wonderful.
oils. I mean, he's a child prodigy. And,
well done.
Well done.
Yeah, so that name to watch for the future is Kieran Williamson from Holt in Norfolk. There we are. You heard it first. And very quickly then, the north-south split in July. The wettest month so far. Not in my garden.
Yes, can I just say, I think we're very London-centric in all of the offices down here, and a lot of the news is produced down south. You know, we've been chatting amiably about having a suntan. I'm sorry to hear that Ireland and Wales and parts of Scotland have had the wettest July, but we have no idea about it. So I just wanted to express kind of comradely sympathy for the wettest July
Why?
ever for the rest
gardeners
of the UK.
there are laughing. It's us poor Sussex, Kent,
because at least they've got
Dorset.
green lawns, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing, yeah. Trees is curling up. Anyway.
Do you know there's people in Yorkshire weeping about your begonias right now?
Yeah, you ought to see my hollyhocks, but that's a different story. Thank you. We'll see you again soon. Yeah. Now, let's bring you some dramatic... Now, let's look ahead to the sport, because we've got a record medal haul from the European Championships.
We
How
have
many?
indeed, 19 to be exact. So that means Great Britain have enjoyed their most successful ever European Championships, bringing home those 19 medals today from Barcelona. 3 of them.
Thank you very much indeed. Plenty of you now telling us about the banks. People sort of been looking through their current accounts and overdrafts and getting rather annoyed?
Yeah,
or...
we've had a fair few comments, I think I can say. Les Calderwood says, surely bumper profits means government loans paid back faster, but we all know that won't happen. He says there should be no bonuses until debts are paid. Jaden King says it's good the banks are making a profit. Taxpayers should get their money back with interest. Simbareshi says, now that the banks are starting to make profits, it's only fair that they dish out the loans. These banks were bailed out by us. Knowing the bankers, though, they'll resort to the old tradition of fat bonuses. But Harry Lau says the banks made those huge profits through careful lending. To lose it to risky lendings now would be detrimental. We've also had some comments on this cloned milk story this morning, that it's entered the system illegally. Ameth says, if the cows are cloned, will the milk be exactly the same as the original cow? And Den points out, not condoning the sale of milk from cloned cows, but he does say the junk food most people eat does them much more harm. And a lot of people asking if we know what the cloned cow is called. No, we don't.
It's got to be Daisy,
I'm
isn't
afraid.
it?
Daisy Mark II.
Yeah, exactly. Daisy twice.
Yeah.
Now then, North-South divide papers saying about this last month with the rain.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a wet one. I mean, not this particular week just gone, but the week before that was a very wet month, a very wet week. I mean, it was awful.
Yeah.
I've just been to North Wales, actually, and it's absolutely saturated and absolutely lush and green compared to here. It's such a contrast.
And we're
you
all
can really
dry
see
and
that.
curled up down here, aren't
I know.
Apart
and
from the weather. Yeah.
And to be honest, you know, it's a general trend like that a bit this week, but not that much in the way of heavy rain.
Thank you very much indeed. More to come on Sunrise, especially on Pele. More from Afghanistan throughout the morning, but let's get the rest of the day's news now with Charlotte.
Thanks, Mark. The Food Standards Agency says it will investigate reports that milk from cloned cows is being sold illegally in Britain. It follows reports this morning that a British farmer's admitted selling milk from a cow bred from a clone. Kitty Logan has this report.
Milk is...
The New York Cosmos football team's being brought back with the backing of its most famous star, Pelé. The Brazilian legend announced the return of his former club in New York this morning. A parade of top stars, including Pelé, his teammate Carlos Alberto, and the former German captain Franz Beckenbauer, played for the Cosmos during the 70s and 80s. That was all before financial problems saw it being wound up. Well, the club now plans to invest heavily in grassroots football in the States and they hope to return to Major League Soccer.
Don't think I'd sign up Michael Bloomberg, though.
I think they might need some new
ball
players.
skills, yeah. Thank you very much indeed. Let's take a look at the front pages of the Monday paper. Let's get an update now on the rest of the morning's news with Charlotte.
Thanks, Mark. Reports that milk from cloned cows is being sold illegally in Britain are being investigated by the Food Standards Agency. It follows reports that a British farmer's...
He doesn't look any older, does he?
He doesn't really.
Extraordinary. Yeah, great player. Probably the best. Charlotte, thank you very much. Now, let's update you on some internet.
The Live Desk opens now. 2 more British personnel die in Afghanistan. We're live.